policy.
Everybody ready? Hey, we want to make you aware of the fact that today we sent a letter to the unions in regard to their efforts to repeal Senate Bill 5, actually inviting them to the table. We're inviting them to talk. I mean, we think that would be a good thing for all of us to sit down and see if we can reach some agreement. You know, they initially reached out to us, and I was asked whether I would approve conversations that were being held by former Speaker Davidson. I brought this to the attention of President Niehaus and Speaker Batchelder, and of course authorized the fact that there could be conversations and discussions about a way to reach an agreement. Actually, at that point, I was somewhat optimistic. I felt that there was some common ground. There were several sessions, progress was being made, and then the door was slammed on that, not by the people I understand involved in the talks, but by others who said the talks shouldn't occur. So, they reached out. We now want to reciprocate, take it up a notch, and I think the sense that we get in Ohio, including from some of Ohio's great newspapers, with the fact that, hey, why can't you all just sit down and have a conversation and see if there is a way to get some things resolved, I think is a positive suggestion. Throughout my career, I've been involved in more negotiations and successful negotiations than most public officials. So starting with the budget agreement in '97, also negotiations that revolved around the B-2 bomber, some negotiations, in fact, regarding welfare reform inside my own party. I mean, I've been involved in more negotiations, and I'm a believer in talking. Sometimes you can't reach agreement, but you ought to talk. This is not an effort that's being put forward because, we fear we're going to lose. I mean, I don't think when they approached us, I don't think they thought they were going to lose. We don't think we're going to lose. I mean, we think we're in a position where the public finds out more and more information. They'll come our way. But that isn't the point. That's a political point. The most important point is Ohio's made a lot of progress. I felt very good yesterday to see Ohio recognized in the Wall Street Journal for the improved credit rating. We've got our budget balance. Things are going in the right direction for our state. But a divisive fight on these issues that could possibly be avoided is in the best interests of everyone, including public employees and people who support public employees. So today, the three leaders here, the governor, the president, and the speaker, are saying come Friday, we'd love to sit down with you. If they don't want to come in mass and they want to come individually and talk about various issues, we're willing to do it. And I've always found in my life, if there's a will, there's a way. It doesn't mean anybody has to compromise their principles, but there are ways in which you can take the edge off anything to try to reach out and have some agreement. I want to compliment the couple of the newspapers in the state that have focused on this, and I read with interest the editorial in our fine Cleveland Plain Dealer. Thought it made a lot of sense. Talked to the leadership, talked to my staff, and said, hey, it's worth another try. Let's sit down and see if we can reach some agreement that is in the best interests of our communities, our public employees, and also the people that support them in the private sector. Mr. President.
Thank you, Governor. And I just want to echo the comments of our Governor and tell you that the three leaders have been working as partners through this process. And what we're trying to do is basically do what people back home have asked me to do. The Governor referenced the editorials in two of our leading newspapers. But I hear from the average person back home that says, why can't you just sit down and work this out? What's the big deal? We see such a mess in Washington where people can't talk. Why can't you guys just sit down and work this out? Well, I think the newspapers picked up on that theme as well, and all we're trying to do is say we want to reciprocate. The unions approached us once before. Unfortunately, those talks didn't go anywhere. We just wanted to reaffirm our commitment to the taxpayers of the state of Ohio, that we want to put out a reasonable, balanced approach to collective bargaining reform. And there are a lot of details that can be worked through, but the main thing is you have to be able to come to the table. And my experience is that whenever there are differences, if you can at least sit down at the table, there's an opportunity to work out those differences out. But if you don't come to the table, there is no opportunity. We're simply saying we're willing to come to the table. We have the best interests of the taxpayers in mind. We look forward to the opportunity to talk about those issues that will still give us the reforms that we need, the reforms that we're very confident the voters will support, but we want to do it collectively with our partners in the public unions. And so we look forward to the opportunity to have that discussion.
I'm very concerned about the potential possibilities of an issue that like this is on the ballot and people are very, very angry on each side. I think it's very important because of what we have to do here in the state of Ohio to continue the forward motion that we have had, which has been recognized by many publications, the Wall Street Journal most recently, across the country. It's crucial that if it is possible for us to come to an agreement which reflects the best interests of the people of the state of Ohio, those who belong to public employee unions, as well as those who do not, that we do so without having the kind of differences that will come out in this kind of a campaign. I met with a number of groups at the time that we were considering this legislation. I asked them what kind of amendments they would like, what kind of amendments were required. And a number of them simply said there was no way to do anything with a bill that had this goal in mind that would be satisfactory. We have in Ohio very expensive local government. We have in Ohio local government that in the long term we can probably not afford. And so we have to address that issue for the good of this state and its image all across the country. This is an opportunity that we want to extend to those who disagree with us on this issue. This is an opportunity that we want to give the people of Ohio the ability to take a look at and to hear about what we think is crucial and what they think is crucial. And as a result of that indeed perhaps we could come to a resolution which will not cause problems with all of the people in the state of Ohio who get involved in this issue. I think that that is something that we want to do. It's something we tried before, and I think it's important that we try again.